Hello everyone, we are Camila and Celeste, and today we're going to talk about the article by Kogan, Munoz, Ibanez, and Garcia, Too Late to Be Grounded, Motor Resonance for Action Words Acquired After Middle Childhood. So what this article discusses or goes against is this idea of this disembodied view that claims that L2 or newly learned languages do not rely on embodied cognition. So it demonstrates that infant exposure is not crucial for word learning because sensory motor networks are also recruited for processing action-related words even during middle childhood and adulthood, and therefore proves to be relevant to language proficiency. The authors of this paper took into account 29 studies containing 34 experiments concerning lately learned L2s and artificial or newly learned languages. And the conclusions that they reached proposed that even in lately learned languages, sensory motor networks seem to be recruited for processing action-related words learned after middle childhood or adulthood. By taking these into account, these results can promote improvements in language-related disciplines that have previously disregarded the relevance of embodied cognition, such as task-based learning, or the grammar translation method, or the communicative methods.
We aim to teach action verbs using embodied cognition to a group of students who are in their middle or late childhood, adolescence, or even adulthood. And we thought of doing this by playing, for example, the classical game Simon Says, where instead of observing, they have to perform the action, which is what the article that we have previously explained embraces to do.
Simon says both hands up, both hands down. Simon says both hands down. Both hands up. Simon says both hands up, both hands down. Simon says both hands up. Oh, good job. Both hands down. Simon says both hands up. Oh, good job. Simon says both hands down. Left hand up. Simon says left hand up. Left hand down. Simon says left hand up. Simon says left hand down. Good job. Right hand up. Simon says right hand up. Right hand down. Simon says right hand up. Simon says right hand down. Good job. Go ahead and shake that out. Woo! Simon says go ahead and shake that one out. Good job.
This is a resourceful technique because the students will not only be watching and observing and doing, their auditory area will also be stimulated because they had to pay close attention to the teacher's instructions to repeat it, and they had to be aware if the teacher says Simon says to allow them to perform the action.
So another useful activity that we could use with our adolescents or adults is charades. This game is very well known, and it consists of giving each student a card, for example. First of all, dividing them in groups, and then giving one member of the group a card with a specific verb, action verb. For example, here we have run, jump, sit, sleep. And what they have to do is represent it accurately so the rest of the members of the group guess the activity. In case that the members of the group don't guess it, the other group has a chance to guess the activity. So this kind of exercise would trigger or in a way help them to perform the activity, or in a way perform this in bodily cognition, and therefore making the learning of these new action word verbs long lasting.
In order not to use just games, we thought of another activity which involves writing. We thought of the memo story, where students will be divided in groups and they will have to think of a story just with action verbs. I mean, they will have to perform the story with the action verbs they select, and the other group will have to guess that story. And by the end of the game, or by the end of the activity, the group which better interprets the story wins. This could be done orally, or it could be also done by writing the story. And we thought also of an alternative of this activity, which would be to choose an action verb and interpret it. I mean, a student will have to choose an action verb and interpret it, and their classmates will have to guess and write down a story just by that action verb that the student interpreted, and that would be used as a trigger in order to imagine and to create a whole story.
Taking into account every activity and game we proposed before, we aim to illustrate in the most clear way the author's aim of this paper and how infant language exposure is not indispensable for the reliance on embodied mechanisms during language processing. So regardless of the fact of the age of the student, we know that in learning an L2 or an artificial or newly learned language, learners rely on embodied cognition. So embodied cognition is therefore crucial if we want to teach our students, and also if we want to obtain long-lasting results.